It was only 2 days ago that I was declared not guilty here. Yes, we somehow managed to prove he didn't stab Miss Green in the back. But now this! Another morning, another murder, and here I am again in this hellhole. Can't keep coming to court. Then stop murdering people. I mean, what? I didn't say that. Ooh, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I am the Story-Driven Gamer, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are hopping into the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. In the last episode, we did a little bit of exploring. We talked to Mr. Garadev, as well as Mr. Natsume, just to get a little bit more, to get their sides of the story about what happened. Mr. Garadev was one of the first people to encounter the body of Shamspeare, who we now know is alive. But at the time, Mr. Garadev didn't know any better, thought he was dead. And Natsume was there as well. He's the one who broke down the door. And then we talked to Natsume at the very end. He was, as you can see from the menu here, that's where we last left off, this jail cell. So he's being imprisoned because he's the main suspect once again. And yeah, at the very end, we found out that Shamspeare has woken up, and Natsume had a bit of hope because he had thought that, oh, good, Shamspeare is awake. He can tell everyone what really happened. That it wasn't me. But of course, that's not what happened. Shamspeare further accused him and said, "Yep, that's the guy who poisoned me." Which I said this in the last episode, but thinking about it, it makes sense because if I'm remembering everything correctly, Mr. Natsume is the one who, I believe, prepared the tea. It was tea, right? Or at the very least served it. So I don't know why Shamspeare would believe anything different. Like, why would he think it wasn't Natsume in that situation? Even if somebody else found a way to put the poison in between. So I feel like it's either Shamspeare is mistaken. I mean, I really don't think we're gonna find out it was Natsume. I'm sure he's once again falsely accused. But so Mr. Shamspeare is either mistaken, or maybe there's something more sinister at play. Like maybe Shamspeare is setting him up for some reason. Maybe he faked being poisoned. Like maybe he put poison in the cup but didn't really drink it. Although I don't know where it would have gone then. Or maybe he put in like a non-lethal dose of poison, drank it, and it knocked him out, but he knew he'd survive. I don't know. We're very early in the case. These are just wild speculations. I like to just throw things at the wall as they come and see what sticks. But yeah, now I believe we are done with the first investigation. I think we're heading to the next trial. I'm not positive, but I think so. Yeah, and I guess it'll be Ryunosuke versus, I'm assuming, Van Zykes, the Reaper of the Bailey. I'm assuming he'll be back. I'm looking forward to seeing him again because he was awesome. And I'm sure we'll learn more about him as well. So that's really all I gotta say. So without further ado, let's hop back into the game. Yep, here we are at the Old Bailey. 22nd February, 9:23 a.m. The Old Bailey, Defendant's Antechamber. The Old Bailey. This place always makes me feel strange. I seem to get chills down my spine and break out in a nervous sweat all at the same time. Yeah, it seems nerve-wracking to say the least. Well, I didn't think I'd be back here so soon. That's my line! Is that Natsume? Yeah, Good morning! Good morning, Mr. Natsume. It was only 2 days ago that I was declared not guilty here. Yes, we somehow managed to prove he didn't stab Miss Green in the back. Did you say 2 days ago? I'm trying to keep track of how much time passed. Yep, it was literally only 2 days ago. Oh, man. Poor guy. But now this! Another morning, another murder, and here I am again in this hellhole. Can't keep coming to court. Then stop murdering people. I mean, what? I didn't say that. I'm beginning to think he's right. It really does seem as though he's cursed. Mr. Naruhodo, I'm afraid I have bad news. Oh, were you in the middle of something? I don't know if I ever commented on it, but Mr. Natsume's eyebrows look like they're drawn on. Mr. Natsume, good morning. Yes, morning. I can't take any more bad news. So, Here we go again, teehee. Just like old times. Yes, again. This is awkward. Judicial Assistant, Miss Mikotova Squirus. What's the bad news? She's probably trying to avoid saying it now. Oh dear. You heard, did you? If you come in shouting at the top of your voice, people can't help hearing what you say. Like that. Oh. I am sorry. You've done nothing wrong, Miss Suzuto. Now, what is it? Mr. Natsume has been accused of another murder. Could you imagine? Well, it seems that the prosecution in today's trial will be led by Miles Edgeworth. Who? Wait, what? He's immortal. Okay, as I thought. Baron von Zykes. Van Zykes? The funny thing is I still have no idea if I'm pronouncing the name right. That's the thing. There have been other Phoenix Wright games as well, Ace Attorney games, where, you know, because there's no way to know unless you hear it said out loud, but there's no voice acting in any of these games. Well, except for some cutscenes in the later games. But yeah, like I have no idea if I'm saying his name right, and I don't think it's ever been said in a cutscene. Maybe it has, I don't know. Grr! No! Oh no! Oh no! Is he the only prosecutor in the world? Like, seriously? The so-called Reaper of the Bailey, the most legendary prosecutor in the land. Dracula. In the trial 2 days ago, he pursued Suzuki-san and I relentlessly. Of course, by the skin of our teeth, we managed to pull through. But still... Yeah. Perhaps Mr. Natsume's acquittal in the last trial wasn't the end of the matter, after all. Yes, I know what you're thinking. The legend of the Reaper that says... Nothing can save a person in the dock when Lord Van Zykes is the prosecutor. Indeed. Oh no! He's gonna kill me! That even if that person is found not guilty, the accused will meet a mysterious end one way or another. And we've experienced it firsthand. That we did. A man we successfully defended met the most terrifying end after his acquittal. Right here in the Old Bailey. Yeah, that was something. Do I have to put up with those ice-cold eyes boring into my soul again? Yes. Yes, you do. Cursed by evil spirits and not by the Reaper. Pair of petrifying perils, potentially. Well, if it's potentially, at least you appear to have hope, Mr. Natsume. Yeah, that's the spirit, I guess. Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire? Yes? What is it? I'm innocent. You have to believe me. You, more than anyone now. Don't cry. Don't worry. I'll be your steadfast ally every step of the way in this battle. I promise. And this promises to be a hard battle, I fear. Yeah, but we've gotten out of worse scrapes. Well, we've stalled long enough. The trial is scheduled to begin shortly. We should move into the courtroom. Let's go! Huzzah! Let's do this. Oh yes, I forgot to say. I'm afraid he won't be able to make it. Mr. Sholmes, I mean. Oh, what a shame. Yeah, that's probably for the best. Natsume might shit himself. More than he already has. Oh! If he were here, I might be tempted to rely on his help. Yeah, right. And that can be seen as weakness. If Lord Van Zykes would have noticed, he'd prey on it mercilessly. At least, that's my gut feeling. Mr. Naruhodo? You're right. Yes, you're so right. Oh, well said, locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire! Well said! I swear on the sword at my side, and on the spirit of Cosima that it harbors, that I will cut Mr. Van Zykes to pieces. Figuratively. I'll show him what a Japanese lawyer can do. I'll set you free with honor! Honor! Where's Zuko when you need him? Oh, yes! Let's do this, guys. We got this. It's just like any other case. 22nd of February, 9:40 a.m., the Old Bailey courtroom. Oh, yes. We have, jurors. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. I have sucked your blood. Just kidding. The prosecution is ready. Oh, that's right. I'm wearing my costume. The defense is ready, my lord. Readiness for the trial, my learned Nipponese friend, is not what the defense needs. He's so cool looking, though. What you need is readiness for your inevitable defeat. Ha It's not just in my imagination. It's really there. Lord Van Zykes has such an animosity towards us Japanese for some reason. Again, like I said, I think I said in one of the last episodes, there's a lot we don't know about him still. About his past and stuff, so hopefully we learn more about him in this game. It was some time ago now that he first became known as the Reaper of the Bailey, I believe. These past few years, he hasn't appeared in court at all. Yeah, like, I don't think we know about any of this, like the reasons behind any of that. Yet now he's back in the courtroom, though for some reason, only when I'm defending. Yes, curious indeed. This Reaper, with his curious disdain for us Japanese, is a prosecutor shrouded in mystery. Deep breath, Naruhodo. Still, this isn't the time to be pondering that. I have to concentrate on Sozuki-san's trial. Furthermore, I now call upon the 6 ladies and gentlemen of the jury. You have been chosen at random to represent the will of the people in this trial. Are you ready to fulfill your duty? Oh, this guy. Absolutely. I had a feeling this Larkin wasn't innocent before. I must say that I feel especially ruthless on days when my hat refuses to sit right. Don't expect me to remember all the voices I gave these people. I have no idea. Oh, well, I rather like how you're wearing your hat. I think the ruthless look is very fetching, actually. Oh, this is a new one. I do declare, I need to be somewhere at 10 o'clock. I have a very important meeting. Let's make this quick. I couldn't agree more. I need to take home 5 bob tonight, or the message will go through the roof. Oh, may the Lord show us all the light here, and lead his flock to a righteous verdict. The British jury system is so very different to our own, isn't it? It's quite extraordinary to think that the power of judgment is in the hands of 6 members of the public, and that the judge can only pass sentence when all jurors are in agreement about the defendant's guilt. Yep, we got those scales of justice, or whatever they're called. 6 citizens of London chosen at random, or at least that's the idea. The prosecution would draw attention to the fact that the accused was on trial here but 2 days ago. Accordingly, where possible, the same jurors have been asked to return for duty today. Very well, let us commence the trial. Lord Van Zykes, your opening statement, please. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it is not the intent of the prosecution to cast doubt over your past decision. However, the innocent verdict afforded to this eccentric Nipponese before has had dire consequences. Yeah, this is a bit odd, like, I feel like that's the opposite of what you would want to do. Have the same, like, you know, the same exact jury that was on trial, you know, that was on the exact same trial before, have them back. They already have their biases towards this guy, probably. Although I guess that could work in our favor, like, technically speaking, because, he was guilty, he was found innocent last time, so they might have that in their head, like, he's not really a murderer. I don't know. Did the accused repent for his wrongdoing in that affair? Far from it. Bam! Instead, he used his freedom to perpetrate a most blood-curdling crime. Namely, that of the attempted murder of his neighboring lodger, an innocent Englishman. To explain the circumstances of the crime, the prosecution calls its first witness to the stand. Witnesses! Off with the cloak. The detective responsible for investigating the scene, and the accused himself. Oh, right. He's still alive, that's right. Oh, never mind. Oh, sorry, the accused. Talking about Natsume. Might be. I'm assuming we will hear from, Shamspeare, I'm sure. Witnesses, your names and occupations, please. Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard's Homicide Division. And me. Ah, Suzuki Natsume from the Empire of Japan. My government ordered me to come here as a student to study your language and culture. Mr. Natsume? Yes, my lord, sir. What do you want? I'm quite sure I'm not mistaken that you swore an oath never to set foot in my courtroom again. It was not my choice. I remember it as if it were yesterday. It was 2 days ago. The day before, in fact, my lord, but close enough. Believe me, this is the last place I want to be. Inspector, let's hear from you first. Explain the case for the court. Right you are, sir. Let's do this. The incident occurred at the Garrett household where the defendant has lodgings. Oh, okay. I thought they were saying, I'm like, it didn't happen in the Garrett's room, but no, he means the building. In the ground floor room of the victim, Mr. William Shamspeare. The defendant has already admitted to visiting the victim on the night in question. That he did. Mr. Shamspeare collapsed in his room as a result of poisoning by strychnine? Is that the name of the poison? He was found the following morning when the landlord, suspecting something was wrong, broke down the door. Technically, that was Natsume. This means, I presume, that the door to the victim's room was locked at the time of the incident? Correct, my lord. It was locked from the inside, making entry to or exit from the room impossible. Although the victim, Mr. Shamspeare, lives to tell the tale, he very nearly didn't. The man was halfway to heaven when we first found him. I was the first officer on the scene, my lord. And I have a photographic print here that I took at the time to show how it looked. Let's have a look-see. Oh, it's in color. Yes, a chilling scene indeed. The man looks very much deceased. Is he eating soap? That's right. Everyone present believed that's exactly what he was. We maybe should have checked the pulse or something, but whatevs. Very well. I shall accept this photographic print as evidence for the court. Okay. A photographic print of the scene taken by police upon their arrival. The victim can be seen unconscious at the table, having been poisoned. Now then, Mr. Natsume? Oh, yes! Yes! As the defendant, do you have anything to say at this juncture? Yeah, I find it weird that he called the accused himself as a witness right away. They're haunted by evil spirits. Okay, don't say anything weird, Natsume. Good gracious, what's haunted? My lodgings. There's been a whole series of strange happenings in my lodgings. The tenant before me died in mysterious circumstances. A woman was stabbed by no one on the street outside. My neighbor was poisoned. And me. What about me? I've nearly been killed countless times. Killed, Mr. Natsume? How? Oh, he's talked about, like, waking up and feeling like somebody was trying to strangle him. Even on that fateful night it happened, when I returned from Mr. Shamspeare's room. I lit my gas stove and climbed into bed, but before long, the stove went out, and somebody tried to kill me. I wonder if that did happen, I wonder if that was Mr. Shamspeare. I talked about how Mr. Shamspeare might have something against Natsume. Like, what if Mr. Natsume is lying about them arguing about Shakespeare or whatever he said they were arguing about? Maybe they had a much more heated argument. And maybe when they were done, Shamspeare felt he had to do something and try killing him. I don't know. You must always extinguish all fires before returning for the night, Mr. Natsume. But it's so cold, my runny nose would freeze. The point is, I didn't poison my neighbor. Oh, why am I being accused of this? Why is my existence so cursed? Enough. Thank you, witnesses. I believe I have a reasonably clear picture of events. If I could raise one more point, my lord. One more conclusive point. Uh-oh. What do you got for us? Conclusive? Go on. Fortunately, the victim, Mr. Shamspeare, has regained consciousness after his ordeal, and he has named the true culprit. Yes, we know all about this. Huh? The poison consumed by the victim was administered in a cup of tea that he drank on the night in question. Tea, my lord, that was brought to the victim's room by the accused. The accused? Good grief! Yep, that's exactly what I was saying. So Shamspeare has every right to accuse him. Order! Order! Yes, that's the crux of this whole case. If Suzuki-san is innocent, then why? Why has the victim accused him? Well, Mr. Natsume, what have you to say to this accusation? That evening, yes, I did take some freshly brewed tea with me when I visited Mr. Shamspeare's room as a gift. The public water pump outside always freezes at night, so I bought bottled water especially to make it. And this is the result. Never will I touch tea again. Never! The public pump was frozen, you say? That's not information we've heard before. Yeah, I was gonna say, first I'm hearing of it. That will do. Thank you. I don't care. Now, according to our lords, the defense must have the opportunity to cross-examine witnesses at least once. Therefore, I call upon these witnesses now for a formal testimony. I presume the prosecution has no objection? Do what you want. None whatsoever, my lord. Let me give you a bow. Good. Then you will give your account of events on the night in question to the court now. Yes, my lord. I will do that. Right now. The catastrophic night. It was around 9 o'clock that evening when I visited my neighbor and I took some tea with me as a gift. We had a heated literary debate over a nice hot drink, after which I went back to my room at around 11. Oh, my tea was completely harmless. He couldn't have locked the door behind me otherwise, could he? Strike 9 takes some time to have an effect on the body. People don't keel over immediately after taking it. The victim would have been perfectly able to lock the door after his guest left. The argument still stands. Interesting, okay. Yes, I see. It all seems relatively straightforward. Excuse me, but that testimony does raise one rather critical point, I think. Mr. Natsume claims his tea to have been harmless. Presumably, though, the teacups have been examined for traces of the poison. Haven't they? Why didn't I think of that? I did think of that. Did I not? Well, as it happens, no. We haven't been able to. Silly us. Did I hear you correctly, Inspector? Scotland Yard has failed to examine the suspect substance? How could you have overlooked something so important? Isn't that the first thing you should have done? After checking for a pulse, which you also should have done? My learned Nipponese friend is falsely incensed. Say that again, Van Zykes. The inspector said Scotland Yard was unable to examine the tea. Not that it was overlooked. Unable? Why? It's simple enough. There was none left. Not a drop. Someone must have been very thirsty indeed. With current scientific techniques, it's not possible to test for poison under such circumstances. Yeah. That's the problem with this game. It takes... You don't have the sophisticated technology. You can't look for, like, traces of the poison, I guess. We only need a drop, but that one drop does actually have to exist, funnily enough. I suppose that checks out. The lack of examination notwithstanding, it appears nothing other than the tea passed the victim's lips on the night in question. Damn it. I see. Thank you. The matter is clear. Cast your eyes over the jury, my learned friend. What? You can see it in their faces, I'm sure. The recognition of the accused's guilt. Your client's fate is all but sealed. In mere moments from now, you will lose, and your compatriot will be damned for all eternity. That I promise you. He's right. I can feel all 6 of the jurors looking daggers at me. Stare. Slap. But I can't let them beat me down. I won't! Okay, shut up. Counsel for the defense, proceed with your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. Right away, sir. Okay. Bring it on, Van Zyke. This is my first testimony of this trial. Let's not screw it up. Okay. Okay, first thing I want to do, because I didn't get a chance to yet, is I want to just take a quick look at my evidence that I have. Let's take a look at the new picture first. Okay. Nothing really stands out too much. I see the soap. He has the fork in his hand. I'm taking a look at this thing. Nothing out of the ordinary with the box. I don't know if this means anything here. Okay, nothing that stands out at the moment. The bricks are all in the window. Yeah, these are the teacups used by Mr. Shamspeare. There is no tea ring on the inside of Mr. Natsume's cup. That's all we know, but we don't know about the poison. But that would imply that there was nothing in Mr. Shamspeare's cup, which is odd. Then this is the bar of soap. This outside Mr. Shamspeare's window. The little reddish medallion, which I think is a money, like a coin, has mysteriously vanished. We have this, a ripped piece of an envelope that was found in Mr. Shamspeare's room. And then these are the 2 pieces of evidence from like the previous case, the map and the book receipt. I don't think we'll need those yet. Okay, so it was around 9 o'clock that evening when I visited my neighbor and I took some tea with me as a gift. Fair enough. We had a heated literary debate over a nice hot drink. Afterwards, I went back to my room at around 11. My tea was completely harmless. He couldn't have locked the door behind me otherwise, could he? I mean, I don't think we have evidence for it, but we know the door... Well, the door was broken because Natsume kicked it open. Okay, that takes some time to have an effect on the body. Oh, we don't have an autopsy report, do we? Because he's not dead. Let's talk about this heated literary debate first. A literary debate about Shakespeare's works, I think you said, didn't you? Shakespeare? Ah, very worthy topic of conversation, I must say. Oh yes, my lord. Romeo and Juliet. Who was stronger? It was a profoundly pleasurable parley. Romeo and Juliet? Who was stronger? What rubbish. I know I'm going to regret asking this, but how did the debate go? Well, we both agreed that we would reach a conclusion more quickly with a reenactment. So we battled it out, in a Greco-Roman style, naturally. What? Mr. Shamspeare had all sorts of costumes in his room for just such a contest. So when you say a reenactment, you mean you were actually in costume? We were LARPing, yes. He as Romeo, I as Juliet. I looked rather hot in my dress. And after a vigorous wild tussle, I as Juliet came out on top. A victory I'll cherish forever. Okay, I was not expecting this to be how it went. I dare not imagine that terrible scene of carnage. The fact remains that it was you who prepared the tea and took it to the victim. Correct? I boiled the water in my room and made a pot to take with me. I'd heard that he was too poor to have tea himself, you see? And you're not? It's true, there was no sign of any tea leaves in the man's room. I wanted to do something nice. To be friendly. So why is everyone looking at me with such suspicion? My tea was harmless, of course it was. And do you have any basis for that statement, witness? Okay, let's press this point. Hold it! Yes, there was not a drop of tea left in the victim's room anywhere, was there? That's correct. Anyone would think the fellow had never had a pot of tea before. He must have licked it dry. Which is a pity, because one drop is all we would have needed to analyze it for poison. And you say that you returned home to your room at 11 o'clock, Mr. Natsume? Yes, definitely. By heaven and earth, I swear it. The landlord was able to verify that as it happens. He confirmed that the defendant went back to his room at 11 that night. And how was the landlord able to attest to this? He Said it was the lamps, I believe. Right, I think it's like if you put in the coin to, activate the power, whatever it was, the lamps, like, flicker. Or dim or something. The lamps, Inspector! When tenants return to their rooms and start using gas, the lamps in other parts of the house flicker. Yes, Mr. Garrett seems to pay a lot of attention to the comings and goings of his tenants. There's only one key to Mr. Shamspeare's room. I know that for certain. So he must have locked the door himself, from inside his room. The victim has confirmed that to be the case, yes. So I'm right. My tea was harmless. Completely harmless. If you take poison, you die. Everyone knows that. That's how poison works, yes. Good job, Natsume. It's not that simple, I'm afraid. What do you mean? Hold it. How long does it take for symptoms to appear then? According to the coroner I was speaking to at the yard, about 30 minutes after the poison is consumed. Then the victim suffers violent convulsions, cramping and stiffness, and eventually dies from asphyxiation. So there's a 30-minute interval between when the poison is ingested and the onset of symptoms. There seem to be a lot of different types of poison in the world, that's for sure. Oh, that's right, we dealt with poison in the last case too. Oh dear. Death by poisoning again. Yep, Susanoo was there. It's always so awful. 30 minutes is a long time. Certainly long enough for the victim to have locked the door behind the accused after he left. Although I guess let me think. This case takes place before the one in the first, the first case, the one that we did with Susanoo, I think, right? Yeah, because that was after she went back to Japan. Did I read this? Certainly long enough for the victim to have locked the door behind the accused after he left. You can't deny that. And it further degrades Suzuki-san's alibi. I have the medical report from the doctor who examined the victim here, my lord. It spells it out, really. The accused is the only person who could have done it. There we go, that's what I'm looking for. Very well, the court will add this report to the court record as evidence. Victim's medical report. A report issued by Scotland Yard's medical officer. It obviously mentions the poison as well as other details gleaned during the police investigation. Oh yes, I see it here. Delayed onset of symptoms. Great. Okay, so let's take a look at that, shall we? So we might just be gathering evidence here. But let's see. Oh wait, hang on. Oh yeah, I already read that. So, William Shamspeare, 31. Cause of coma, ingestion of a small quantity of strychnine. Strychnine, I'm gonna call it. Toxic effects present 30 minutes after ingestion. High likelihood of the substance having been mixed with the tea the victim was drinking, but no sample could be obtained for testing. Investigative conclusions. The poisoning incident occurred at around 1:30 a.m. on 21st of February. Assessed from the victim's pocket watch that appears to have broken when the man collapsed after the delayed onset of symptoms. That's exactly what happened with Ishimaru. Danganronpa. No container for the poison was found at the scene. That is interesting. Where would that have gone? Okay. Hold it! Hold it! The argument still stands, you say? Do tell. This is what Mr. Natsume's been saying, isn't it? The pair of them drink tea together that night, so if there was poison in it, the victim wouldn't have been able to lock the door after the accused left later on. Exactly! Me and my tea are innocent! Sweet and innocent, I tell you! Oh, you silly boy. I'm afraid, sir, that doesn't follow. You see, strychnine is a slow-acting poison. In other words, it takes time for symptoms to appear. So you could have left the room up 30 minutes after the victim drank the tea. And as long as you did that, Mr. Shamspeare could have locked the door after you'd gone. But no! We drank the tea straight away. The battle over whether Romeo and Juliet was stronger, that came after the tea. Do you have any evidence to support that statement? No. In my great homeland, the Empire of Japan, we have a saying. Drink tea while it's hot. Sure, a proverb will satisfy the prosecution. I'm afraid there's no conclusive proof to support the defendant's assertion. On the contrary, there are sufficient grounds to infer his guilt in this matter. Damn it. No! Please! That's the extent of their testimony, is it? If I could voice a personal opinion, Mr. Naruhodo? Of course, go ahead. Mr. Natsume is arguing for his innocence so adamantly and so persistently. Yet Inspector Gregson just brushes what he says aside. It's really quite infuriating. I'm gonna kill him! I agree. So we need to find an inconsistency in what the inspector is saying, I think. I'm afraid so. As things stand, the jurors are sure to find Mr. Natsume guilty. As I see it, what we need to focus on is the poison and the tea. Let's listen carefully to this testimony again. Yes! Okay, I'm gonna press this last point here.
Hold it!
Just to see if we get any more evidence. Were you and your neighbor good friends then? Ugh, no! We weren't friends! Not at all! Not at all! Never! Ever! A simple no would have sufficed. Then, why did you decide to pay him a visit? Mr. Shamspeare fancies himself as having great literary knowledge. As a fellow scholar of English literature, we find much to talk about together. Come now, no Nipponese could understand the finer points of English literature. Racist much? And on the night in question, what was the topic of conversation as well, I presume? Or that was the topic of conversation as well, I presume? It was the day of my last trial when I was acquitted. I just arrived back at my lodgings. When I ran into Mr. Shamspeare outside on the street, that was around 6 o'clock. We exchanged one or two pleasantries, but it soon turned into a heated discussion. He was on his way out at the time, though, so I promised to visit his room that evening at 9 to continue our debate. But did I have ill intentions? No, not one, not two, not any, not at all. Never, ever, again. A simple no would have sufficed, I feel. Geez, this guy's annoying. Then tell the court what did happen when you visited the victim's room. Okay, so now we gotta figure this out. So again, we got this. And I think they made it clear that we have to use this, or we have to argue against what he said. Maybe that's not really the case. The victim would have been perfectly able to lock the door after his guests left. I mean, there's nothing in this report that contradicts that. Right? Because it says toxic effects present 30 minutes after ingestion. High likelihood of the substance having been mixed with the tea the victim was drinking. But no sample could be obtained, we know all that. Okay, it occurred 1:30 a.m. on 21st of February. Is there... Let me look at this picture. Okay, I was gonna see if there was any clock in the room to maybe contradict the time. But yeah, there's nothing like that in here. It's not like he's wearing a pocket watch or something. But yeah, I want to see if I'm reading this part correctly. The poisoning incident occurred at around 1:30 a.m. So are they saying that he was poisoned at 1:30 a.m.? Assessed from the victim's pocket watch that appears to have broken when the man collapsed. Yeah, it says after the delayed onset of symptoms. And then there's the fact that there's no container for poison at the scene. I'm gonna just go for it. I really don't want to be wrong in the first case, like, this early on, but I feel like presenting this to this point. Let's try it.
Objection!
Yes, objection! The argument still stands, you say? I think not, Inspector. Come again? I think you'll find that you've overlooked a very significant chronological inconsistency here. A chrono what? What does that word mean? What are you on about? According to this report, The victim must have consumed the poison at around 1:30 in the morning. Okay, see, that's what I wasn't sure about. Okay, so... yeah, so when they said 1:30, that's when he took the poison. Okay. And yet... the defendant, Mr. Natsume, left the victim's room at 11. Ah, okay. Ah! Yes, that's right. There's more than 2 hours of missing time there. Ugh. In other words, if there was poison in the tea that Mr. Natsume brought to the victim's room, how could the victim have fallen ill to it 2.5 full hours after the defendant left? Ah! In synchronization. The defense's argument is entirely reasonable. How do you respond, Lord Van Zykes? I have no idea. Ah, my glass of grape juice. Pray forgive the discourtesy if my mind has wandered. It does that from time to time. I was considering what cuisine would best complement the contents of my hallowed chalice this luncheon. What do you want about? How could it have happened, you ask? Huzzah! I do hate to shatter illusions, but my Nipponese friend appears to be chasing a phantom idea. And yes, I did pour that glass just so I could do that. A phantom? What are you gonna pull out of your ass this time, Van Zykes? Is it so hard to imagine that the victim drank his tea after the accused had left? For example, at the time stated in the medical report? Yes, at around 1:30. Do you have evidence of that, or is this just conjecture? Mr. Natsume brought the tea with him to drink together with his neighbor. And in Japan, there was a well-known saying, drink tea while it's hot. I just heard about that just now. Objection. And in my country, there is an even more apt saying, drink tea while it is cold. There is nothing more refreshing than cold tea. That's what we call iced tea, actually. The point is, if there was such a long gap, there may be other ways to explain how the victim came to be poisoned. Other possibilities. What sort of possibilities, counsel? I haven't thought that far ahead yet. Well, for example, the man could have had another visitor. Another visitor? That's a very bold assertion, my learned friend. From someone who has nothing to substantiate it. Or, the victim could have taken the poison of his own volition. You suggest this may have been a suicide, counsel? Objection! Mr. Shamspeare has categorically denied suicide. The idea can and must be discounted. Objection! You don't know that. That was a weenie slap. But he could be lying. I don't know why he would, though. I have no words. ... Yes, very amusing. There's something wrong. Yeah. There's something wrong, Lord Van Zykes. I was listening to the sound of the carriage pulling up outside the courtroom. Pray forgive the discourtesy. Carriage? What carriage? It's on fire, just like before. It would seem that the key player in this case has just arrived. Oh, is it Shamspeare himself? Hold it! It's gotta be him, right? Out, out, brief candle! Life's but a walking shadow. It is I! A poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. I have definitely heard that quote before. I don't know which. I'm assuming it's Shakespeare, but I have no idea what it's from. I may have even read it for all I know, because I did take a Shakespeare class in college. I bow to you, sir. Who, sir, are you? William Shamspeare, my lord, not to be confused with my brother Shakespeare. Alas, 'twas I undone by these bitter events. I am the victim. What? What's he doing here? I didn't invite him. Nice scepter, though. Shut up, everyone. The prosecution seeks to call this gentleman to the stand. With his testimony, my learned friend's futile resistance will be utterly crushed. Uh-oh. You're calling him as a witness? Really? Very well, counsel. I grant your request with interest. I'm curious to discover what the court shall hear from the victim himself. Huzzah, my people! Happy I am, Shamspeare, to regale thee with my tale of woe, my lord. But I still have my own tale to tell, my own tale of worse woe. I can regale the court with the tale of my perfect innocence, in perfect English, too. Everyone shut up. That will do, Mr. Natsume. Let the court now hear from the victim. Here we go. Oh, this guy. Alright. So that's Mr. Shamspeare. But who's that other man beside him? Yes, I feel sure that we've caught a glimpse of that man before. State your names and occupation for the court, please. Witnesses? A writer of words so sweet, they do scent the breeze, an inventor of ideas so profound they compose the earth. The unrivaled poet, the unmatched scribe, William Shakespeare. With a great bard to be recalled to life anew. Lo, what a magnificent man! Good fellows, I am who ponders such a miracle. William Shamspeare. I almost said Shakespeare. I don't know what to give him. Oh, the name's Metterman. Adrian B. Metterman. I work for the Altamont Gas Company, East End branch office. Ah, I remember now. It was yesterday on Briar Road. Oh yes, she's right, it's him. He was looking in through the window. Oh, what's this? What's that man doing over there? He looks like he's trying to see into Suzuki-san's lodgings. That's not suspicious at all. Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? Excuse me, could we have a word? Huh? Ah! I'm out. See ya, bitches. Yes, we spotted him outside Mr. Gavidev's house that morning. Very sus. And he's a gas company employee? What does he have to do with this case? So, Mr. William Shamspeare, you were the victim in this miserable affair, correct? Oh heaven, oh hell, do you command me to remember? That sweet poison that did cross me and cross mine innocent lips. I subpoenaed him for the trial, with his doctor's permission, naturally. Hearing the testimony of the aggrieved will remove any room for doubt from the jurors' minds, I'm sure. Behold, you have only to reread the letters of my name to see that me is a seraph, an angel indeed. Thus be I noble of mind, sweet of nature, and, verily, honest of heart, as all heavenly angels be. Because there isn't a less contrived meaning in your name? No, not at all. The jurors seem to be very moved by this man, I'm afraid. Screw them. They're actually taking the seraph anagram idea seriously? Thank you, witnesses, for your illuminating introductions. But my lord, what's the man next to Mr. Shamspeare doing here? The gas man, I mean. The gas man. Oh, what, me? Well now. Allow me to enlighten my learned friend. You recall, I presume, your earlier impertinence? When you suggested the victim had another visitor to his room on the night in question. And moreover, that the victim is a compulsive liar. What? No, I didn't quite say that. Not exactly, anyway. This young chin-stroker here is to controvert your wild claims conclusively. Is that not so, Mr. Metterman? Oh, that's supposed to be like Meter Man? Because he's in charge of the gas meters? Hang on, no, I'm just here. I'm just here to hang out. I had nothing better to do today. I hereby call for your formal testimonies. You will tell the court as lucidly as possible what happened on the night in question. One may smile and be a villain. Yes, it doth pain me, but let the truth be spoken, the truth of that wintry night of my discontent. I don't know what's going on. Here we go. The wintry night of my discontent. The snow lay about. My neighbour did cometh in the evening, bearing a gift of tea. But marry, bitter was his drink, and when he left I did fall prostrate on my table. 'Twas the tea alone did pass my lips that late hour, naught else. I was outside this bloke's window in freezing cold all night, keeping an eye on his room. No one else visited his room but that short little round-backed eastern fella. Wait, what did you say? You were keeping an eye on Mr. Shamspeare's room all night? That's right. Of course the bloke's window is all but blocked up, isn't it? But there's a little gap in the bricks where you can see into the room. So I spent the night trying to keep my teeth from chattering, as I peered in through that. The question is, sir, why? That's what I want to know. Oh, he did it again. That's a creepy face. Oh, well now, that's because he's on my list. What a piece of work is a man! Wherefore wouldst thou not stare in wonderment? What are you talking about? This buzzing busybody hath not part in this play. I pray thee, pay him no heed, make no more ado about his tedious words. What do you say about me? Calm yourself, idiot. This court is concerned with what happened on the night in question. Nothing more. Indeed, that is so. And as the testimony we just heard clearly reveals, there was no one other than the accused present at the time who could have carried out this crime. I mean, it could have been this man right here. The man who's saying he was watching them the whole night or whatever. Well, I believe this may be the final testimony of the trial. Now, counsel, the defense may proceed with the cross-examination. Yes, my lord. Why do I doubt that this is the last testimony of the trial? Just a guess, mind you. Come on. We got this. I still like that. The wintry night of my discontent. Okay, the snow lay about my neighbor, did cometh in the evening, bearing a gift of tea. Bitter was his drink, and when he left I did fall prostrate on my table. 'Twas the tea alone did pass my lips that late hour, and naught else. I'm definitely curious about what this guy was doing there. I want to press him on this. Hold it, sir. So you didn't have any kind of evening meal? Dinner, supper? Ha! Fie on luxury, fie on gluttony. To eat thrice daily is but a waste of time. Yeah, of course. Sorry? I would that my belly were full, no more oft than the sun doth rise. Wee-hee, waha, whoa-ho! Well, most heroic eating habits, I must say. Night and day do I fill my hours with learned study of the great bard and playwright. In my free time I do jumping jacks. Hence, it is that there doth not be in my chamber be than the costumes of mine art. That would appear to be the case, as even a rodent was found starved to death in your room. Now I think of it, that's not just food that was conspicuously missing from that room, is it? I don't recall seeing a single play or script anywhere. For I have devoured them all. Oh gosh, you've eaten them? Yeah, that's much better than actually eating, actual food. Every word be within my skull. Didst thou imagine otherwise? Right. That wasn't misleading at all. Now, could you turn around, do you think? Which brings us to the conclusion that the only way the poison could have passed the victim's lips is in the tea. Ah, yeah, I was afraid of that. Okay, I'm gonna press this guy's points. What were you doing outside? But the windows of that house have all been filled in. Haha, a historical artifact of the new defunct window tax. Yeah, you're right there. All bricked up horribly. But as it happens, there's a little part of the brickwork at the bottom corner that's been opened up. Oh, that really hurts my voice. I was looking into that gap. Yes, there were a few bricks loose, weren't there? And for some strange reason, a couple of bars of soap lined up on the ledge outside as well. Like that, I think he might have been passing soap in through that door. Through that window, rather. I don't like going around picking my chin in other people's business, especially on freezing cold nights. But them's my orders, so that's what I'll keep doing. In order there's breath in my body, I'm a gentleman. Which was all the theatrics today. Or theatricals today. Out of interest, Mr. Metterman, after the accused had left and returned to his own lodgings, did you see the victim leave the room at all? No, he never left. He was in that room the whole time as far as I'm concerned. And we can therefore discount the possibility of suicide. How can you be sure of that? The police carried out a thorough investigation of the scene and found no receptacle of the poison. That's right, it said that in the report. And since we know the victim didn't leave his room, and hence didn't dispose of the poison container himself, it's clear that this was no attempted suicide. Only the culprit could have removed the receptacle. That is logical. Oh yes, lucidly explained, counsel. Thank you. It really was. You can't argue with the logic. Nope, it's pretty sound. Let's see. Press him on this. You say a short little round backed eastern fella. So you can't be sure it was the defendant then. You idiot. How many other short little round backed nipponees with a mustache do you think there are in London? Well, of course. It's only a narrow gap and it was quite dark, so I didn't notice the mustache. But he showed up at around 9, so I'm pretty sure of it myself. And when the person you saw arrived, did he and Mr. Shamspeare drink tea together? Nah, sorry. I couldn't say. I'm tempted to go back into the episode from the first game. Obviously not right now. after this recording or whatever, because I really don't remember what voice I gave this guy. I want to see if it was a voice that doesn't kill my voice, kill my actual voice as much. Why not? Because I couldn't see into the room all that well, could I? But what I did see was the silhouette of that little round-backed fella wearing a pretty dress. Oh, that matches up to what we've heard. Then the pair of them started some kind of wrestling match, I tell you. I didn't know what to make of it. That was the Romeo and Juliet argument. I suppose that was the Romeo and Juliet championship battle getting underway. Mr. Metterman, allow me to confirm one final time. Apart from the accused, can you state with certainty that no one else visited the victim on the night in question? No question. Gasman's honor. So that's the entire testimony. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, I can't see any obvious holes at all, to be honest. No. Oh dear. If nobody else visited Mr. Shamspeare's room that night apart from Mr. Natsume, I imagine the members of the jury will all conclude the same thing. Right. That he's guilty. Well, all we can do is press these witnesses for more information and hope for a breakthrough. Yes! So that's what I'll continue to do. So let's just continue pressing on these points.
Hold it!
Hold it! To be clear, by neighbor, you are referring to the defendant, Mr. Natsume? Oh, indeed, sire. Perchance thou wouldst call him... that I call him the man from upstairs? No, he's not God. And at what time did the mustached Nipponese visit you in your room? Wait, what'd he say? Mustachioed. Our meeting was promised for the hour of 9, and lo did he come to tender a gift of fragrant tea. Details were in accordance with the defendant's own testimony, yes? And we were broiled in such a literary debate as history hath not seen before. By which I presume he means... their discussion about who was the stronger, Romeo or Juliet. I, Shamspeare, did play the part of young Romeo, whilst my neighbour played the fair Juliet. I feel like it would have made more sense to have the roles reversed. I'm getting a feminine vibe from this guy. Each of us dressed as would our characters be to bring weight upon our merry experiment. I dare not imagine the scene. Also I'll have to burn my eyeballs. Frailty, thy name is woman. Canst thou imagine how dismayed I was? Yes, I heard the Eastern art of jujitsu, but... ne'er did I dream 'twould be a skill practiced by the comely maiden. Juliet beat Romeo up? This is not helping her case. I believe the court has heard enough about your earth-shattering literary debate. Don't bring it up again. Perhaps you could reiterate your statement about the tea that the accused brought to your room. My liege, I am thy servant. Gladly I'll do thy bidding. Okay, I think this is the last one I have to press.
Hold it!
Let me stop you there. Mr. Natsume left your room at 11 o'clock, but it wasn't until after 2 that the poison made you collapse. That amounts to more than 3 hours of missing time. And your point? Ooh, look at me. I'm so hot. Ooh, ah, ooh, ooh, ah. If the defendant had really put the poison into your tea, that 3-hour window of time is something you're going to have to explain. Gladly. 'Tis an easy task. Is it? What? I did drink of the tea not while my guest did tarry, but after he took leave of me. Faith, 'twas stone cold, but at 1 hour post midnight, verily were my lips parched.
Objection!
That's a very weird, it doesn't make any sense. That doesn't sound normal. Nay, 'tis quite ordinary, sire. After all, thou wouldst recall our fiery debate. Amid such argument, there'd be no time for fiery tea. I guess. You could have used the tea and, like, splashed it in his face. Romeo and Juliet again? And who is stronger? Mr. Shamspeare, in summary, allow me to confirm. Did you not come here with the intention of naming your attacker? But of course, my liege. 'Twas the stooped lover of words did attempt to shuffle me off this mortal coil. Ugh. We all know what that means. Yep. Hold it! Who dat? Oh. My lord! Goodness me. Yes, Mr. Foreman? I've kept my mouth shut and listened up to now, but this has gone on long enough. Are you all with me? Yes! Yes, everybody. Are we to understand that you ladies and gentlemen of the jury are in agreement with one another? That you've reached a unanimous decision? True, right we have. Uh-oh. Are you all with me? Yes. I don't like this. Wait, no. The defense is in the middle of cross-examination. To be honest, I was holding out a bit of hope for you, young man. Especially after you identified those few hours that followed the accused leaving the victim's room. Yes, the 3 missing hours, as you put it. But in the end, what difference did they make? None, as far as I can see. And since that's now apparent, there's really no reason to delay our decision any longer. Like I was saying before, if I don't take Five Bomb home with me tonight, the message will blow her top. Who? What's that? Sorry, I didn't quite catch what you said. Very well. Let the court be apprised of your decisions. Uh-oh, this isn't good. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your leanings as to the defendant's culpability.
Guilty.
Guilty.
No, shut up.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Yeah, okay, that's not good. Into the fire! But we can do the thing, right? Where we try and change their minds in one last-ditch effort. That wouldn't stand in an actual court of law. But there you are. All of you? Well, it would appear that the jury is indeed unanimous. So, this time at least, it seems justice will be done. All's well that ends well, as they say. Ha! That's Shakespeare for you. This calls for a toast, I feel. I don't have a glass. To the guilty being punished. Ah! Wow! Get out, Mr. Naruhodo, please! The trial isn't over yet. What do you mean, Miss Suzuto? What about the information I found in this Encyclopedia of British Law I have? Don't you remember? We did it a bunch in the last game. That obscure right that belongs to the defense in these situations. Remember? Ah. A summation, that's what it's called. A summation examination. Yes, that's right. We don't have a jury in Japanese courts, of course. But here in a British court of law, we can reverse the decisions of a majority of the jurors. We can force the trial to continue. I got this. This trial can end now. Pick yourself up, Ryunosuke. Whatever it takes, I just can't let that happen. Slam! The defense moves to invoke its right to a summation examination, my lord. Oh, not this again. Who the hell wrote this law? Why am I not surprised at my learned Japanese friend's inability to admit defeat? You choose to cling desperately to some archaic rule you barely comprehend, instead of accepting the truth. Hey, it worked like every other case, so shut up. Certainly no other defense counsel in recent times has exercised the right to a summation examination. Because they all know that once the jury's mind is set, it cannot be altered. You both saw it, like, in real time. You saw it happen many times, so shut up, all of you. You think other defense attorneys would have followed suit and at least given it a try. Nevertheless, the right remains and must be upheld. The defense counsel's request is granted. This court will proceed with a summation examination as outlined in the Encyclopedia of British Law. Thank you, my lord. Are you and your fellows prepared, Mr. Foreman? Believe me, my lord, we know all about this young lad's tenacity. And we're ready for it. Very well. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hereby call upon each of you to state the grounds upon which you find the defendant guilty of the crime for which he stands accused. The jurors' contentions. Okay, guys. I think we're going to stop it here. I feel like this just feels like a good spot to end it. We're a little bit over an hour. We're coming up on like an hour 15, at least in my recording. And yeah, it just, I don't know how much is left in the trial, but I know these can take a while to these summation examinations, so. And my voice is killing me. I don't know if I said that already. But yeah, it's getting good. I figured we'd see Shamspeare appear at some point. I didn't think it would happen so soon. Yeah, so Shamspeare, I wasn't expecting to see him, but we got him on the stand already, along with this other guest guy. I'm sure we'll find out what he was doing. I mean, I have a feeling he wasn't just looking in the window. I like that. I feel like he might have been passing those bars of soap in. Maybe he was hiding money in them and passing them into Shamspeare. I don't know for what reason. Maybe it has something to do with the gas meter. But we'll find out, I'm sure. Yeah, a lot of it was just getting to the bottom of things. I don't feel like we learned anything too crazy yet. Like, no crazy revelations. It's just been kind of, trying to poke at the testimonies, trying to get closer and closer to the truth. So in the next episode, we will see if we can break down these witnesses and turn over this verdict. So, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you guys so much for watching, as always. If you like the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when more videos go up. And of course, share the video and the channel with all your friends, family, loved ones. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next time. So take care, and bye-bye.